Good evening, comrades and friends. Today, for May Day, I've written an address which I'd like to read to you. Just a moment, please. The title of the address is, What is Internationalism? Revolutionary greetings to my comrades and friends all over the world. In order for us to understand the true nature of May Day, we must first understand internationalism. In order to understand internationalism, we must understand solidarity. The origins of May Day do not just go back to the many revolutionary attempts in Germany or Russia for that matter, but here in the U.S., to the martyrs of Chicago and the countless trade unions leaders of labor who have given their lives for the cause. The struggle for workers' rights, workers' democracy continues. The invention of the American Labor Day was merely an attempt by the bourgeoisie to combat the internationalism that was at the very essence of the revolutionary struggle. The liberal reformists, the social democrats, and other forces who have countered our efforts over the years formed their concessions and negotiations only to eventually rob the workers of the few rights they were given, such as the bargaining rights, which are merely breadcrumbs at the dinner table. The syndicates cease to represent workers or represent the bureaucrat that are opportunistic and elitist, as they squandered over these crumbs as slaves of imperialism, of capitalism, and all its oppressive forms, such as wage slavery, an instrument of exploitation of the proletariat. As we see in the U.S., bipartisan support for taking rights of workers, whether in Madison, Chicago, or Boston, the illusion of democracy, which should better be called bourgeois democracy, is that will continue to have elite control over the economy by the warlords or oligarchs that ultimately control the system from the banks and from the barons of Wall Street, in a feudal-like system nearing a medieval-type police state, and what has been called by our Occupy comrades the 1% control over the masses of 99%. Nevertheless, even the petty bourgeois or middle-class sectors have suffered and lowered into working or unemployed class people, as homelessness in the developed world, especially in the U.S., has been on the rise. Ultimately, we must strive not just to express our indignation at something, but to offer a solution, an alternative. We may differ on methods, but in a united front we share the same aims and must unite together for the new society, an ideal society of justice and equality for all human beings in a world void of borders, money, and other excesses that will only lead to destruction and division. The system cannot be reformed, it can only be overthrown. Revolution is the only solution. Soon I return to my hometown of Boston, where a tragedy has just struck, where the American Revolution started. On the anniversary of that, terror struck in the heart of Boston in the International Marathon, the Boston Marathon. What is true patriotism? I am not a nationalist, but as an internationalist I see no contradiction in being a patriotic person such as on Patriots' Day. It is out of love of people, humanity, not governments or figures that pretend to represent this humanity, that patriotism comes about. Not out of populism, but out of being with the people, which sometimes makes you not popular or in the majority, for republicanism and democracy in this system, which has never really existed, and a balance of the two is needed, with socialist principles. For the final analysis, humanism is the core of revolution, true evolution. We must strive to reach our goals for there to be true liberation, for the long run, to make a new consciousness, to plant seeds in people, and make people aware that our dreams can come true, if only we unite. For it is my hope, through this unity we can do the impossible. History has shown us the mistakes we must learn, only time will tell. For solidarity is standing side by side with your brothers and sisters in the struggle. Thank you, comrades and friends, for listening.